Hello, everyone, and today we're talking about the Raiders. And with the addition of Antonio Brown, the Raiders are a much, much better football team all the way around. The Raiders struggled offensively last year, but Antonio Brown will bring a much needed impact to the passing game. And with Antonio Brown, a receiver that can catch 100 passes per year and well, 18, 1900 yards in passing, he's probably going to score right around 15 touchdowns for the season. He's going to add that impact the Raiders have needed for a long time. And then you look into Klein Farrell, the fourth overall draft pick for the Raiders. You're talking first year. This is a guy that could add 10 sacks. He's a leader. He played for a national championship team in college with Clemson. They won multiple national championships there while he was there. And then you go to Josh Jacobs, a running back that he can catch the ball fluently. His run after the catch is very, very good. Very elusive back, very strong back. Runs in between the tackles. He can go inside. He can go outside. He can do whatever you want him to do. Jonathan Abram brings some punch to the defense. I think he's going to jar a lot of balls loose. You know, when his receiver tries to make a catch, John Abrams going to be there. And there will be some times where he may force some fumbles. He's an opportunistic player. And then you look into your second round with Tavon Mullen, very good speed corner from Clemson. All in all, the draft for the Raiders is going to help. I think the Raiders did a good job with their offensive line. Trent Brown, Richie Incognito. Although Richie Incognito may be a little bit, maybe the size says it all, but he does have talent. He can play the guard position very, very well, along with Rodney Hudson. If you don't know about Raider Nation, if you don't know about Trent Brown, he's a 6'8", 340-pound left tackle that is very athletic. He pulls well. On the Patriots, he was a very instrumental part of New England's offense. As far as on the offensive line goes, a lot of pulling. He really showed his athletic ability in screens and stuff like that, blocking to the second level. And really, Arden Key going into his second year with Klein Farrell, being a rookie, is going to be instrumental for the Raiders' defense. If you can set the perimeter, you can dictate an offense, force them to the inside. And if you can get after the quarterback from the outside, it really helps them inside rushers get some sacks. You force quarterbacks to step up into the pocket when they might not want to, which could cause some interceptions, blatant throws, you name it. All the way around, it's going to help. The Raiders are going to be a much improved football team this year, and especially from the offensive line position. You take a look at some of the wide receivers on the depth chart. You got Dwayne Harris, a very good kick returner. He'll set you up in good field position. And the other guy I like is Terrell Williams. He's a big-time playmaker. Doesn't catch a lot of passes per game, but does give you some playmaking potential, along with J.J. Nelson. A speed receiver when he's healthy. He does make plays. At the tight end spot, losing Jared Cook's going to hurt. Was very consistent last year and all the way through his career. Then at center, you guys are very, very well set with Rodney Hudson. Gabe Jackson and Richie Incognito at the guard positions, very good. I see that the Raider offensive line will be very big and very powerful. And with the speed of the newcomer, Josh Jacobs, this could be a big year for you. Very big year. I definitely think that the outside pass rush, though, has got to get better. I think Klein Farrell's going to do his part. A lot of it's going to be up to Arden Key and how much better can he get. I think the middle linebackers got better with Vontae Burfict coming over from Cincinnati. He is a high personality player. He's going to bring a lot of energy to the defense. He hits. He loves to run and hit. He's a very physical football player. And then Brandon Marshall from the Denver Broncos. Not great, but he's good. I think he could hold the fort for a year while the Raiders may look in another direction at middle linebacker next year. And then looking into the secondary, there's not a lot of high caliber talent in the secondary. Probably, now the safety position, you got John Abram and you got LaMarcus Joyner. Very good, extremely talented. You do have the addition of Tavon Mullen, but can Garyon Conley from Ohio State a few years back, can he step up and be the player that he was drafted to be? That will be very, very interesting to see. A highly scouted player coming out of college, again, a former first-round draft pick. It'll be very interesting to see if he can live up to the hype of his draft pick. Overall, Raiders, it's going to really revolve around Antonio Brown, Josh Jacobs, and Derek Carr. Can these guys put it together and make enough plays to keep you in the game and come out on top? That's what it's going to be all about. Can you get enough in the running game and throwing to an assortment of running backs like a Jalen Richard, DeAndre Washington? Can you guys throw it to them guys enough to where they can add to what Josh Jacobs does and come in maybe on third down and help out? Defensively, the two middle linebackers I think are going to be better than last year. I think in the future, Oakland will continue to upgrade that middle linebacker spot. Justin Ellis, he's been pretty solid throughout his career. I just don't see enough talent to really say that the Raiders are going to blow people away this year. I just don't see it. I think they did a great job with the offensive line, so Derek Carr will have some more time, and I think that sets Antonio Brown up for a big season. Now, can Antonio Brown have a big enough season to push the Raiders to maybe a winning record, to where Raider Nation, you go 9-7 or 10-6 or something along those lines? I just don't see an explosion of talent anywhere on the roster. Now, will it be better than last year? Absolutely. I can definitely see the Raiders, if the offensive line goes as planned, as it looks on paper, being much better. And I can see your running game being much better. The passing game will come up with, again, Antonio Brown. Keelan Doss is an interesting rookie, did very well at the Senior Bowl. Hunter Renfrow, wide receiver from Clemson. He's more of a possession guy. And then Terrell Williams, I do think he'll make some big plays, but he's not extremely consistent. but he is a playmaker. Really, it's about the corners on defense. Can the corners can you need somebody to step up on the as far as your cornerback position goes on the defensive side. You do have Tyvon Mullen, but he's probably being a rookie, he is probably a number 2 corner at this point in his career. You guys really don't have a number 1 bona fide corner on the team. It's all about who can step up and who can make plays, which which happens every year. Every year, guys that are unknown step up and get themselves into positions where they are doing very well. But who's it going to be? That's going to be the biggest question for the Raiders coaching staff. I think the linebackers will be improved, both in the middle and the outside. Your nickel defense, as far as pass rush, will be better. An interesting rookie is Foster Monroe from LSU, 6'4", 253 pounds. He'll provide some blocking. Um, Probably a possession tight end, guy to help out, get some first downs. You guys did bring in Eric Swoop. He's an athletic guy, but he's been a backup throughout his career, so it's hard to say how consistent he'll be. He's athletic enough to where he could jump off the page and be a huge playmaker, but he hasn't done that yet in his career. Everybody's got to be excited for Antonio Brown, though. He's going to his second team. He's got a good young quarterback who's still getting better and still improving. And with the improvements on the offensive line, he's going to have some time to get open. He could have, without a lot of talent on this roster, he could have a lot of catches. He's going to get a lot of targets. I could easily see him having 3 or 4 games in double-digit catches. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, or even what you would want, even as a team for the Raiders. But I could definitely see where maybe Derek Carr holds the ball a little bit. He's searching for his guy. The blocking's there, so he steps up into the pocket, and then Antonio Brown's there a lot. That I can see. And that's going to set up other guys to have some success, to get some extra in-game repetitions, to really get better. He's going to buy you some time. And that will buy the Raiders. If somebody's going to step up and Antonio Brown can make enough plays along with Josh Jacobs and maybe a couple of them tight ends that have been inconsistent throughout their career or have been backups, can kind of step up a little bit, or they can play in a rotation and be very productive and help the Raiders get some first downs. I can then see where the Raiders may do a little bit more than they did, game to game last year. I can see the Raiders, with the first round of the Raiders and the addition of Antonio Brown, I can see the Raiders going 8-8. But some guys, in order to do better than that, some guys are going to have to step up. Derek Carr has been a good quarterback throughout his career. He has shown some dynamic ability. And even last year, it wasn't bad. Still threw for over 4,000 yards. So not a bad quarterback overall. He doesn't get the hype of some of the other quarterbacks, but his team around him hasn't been as good either. This year with Antonio Brown could be different. He could have a much higher statistical season. And late in the season, if the Raiders can go 6-6, some teams can turn it around at mid-season. I think the Raiders are going to be a team to where If they're 6-6 and some young guys on the team are feeling confident and ready to go, do I think Antonio Brown could have a string together a good month of football and help the Raiders get over the top? It's possible. So at the very best, you're looking at 10-6, and I would say that the Raiders are probably an 8-8 football team. You're probably going to see a lot of 8-8 football teams this year, um, more than normal. A lot of 500 teams. This was a very good draft. A lot of teams got better. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Well, Raider Nation, thank you for watching. Join me next week for some more off-season updates leading up to training camp. Have a great day.